Good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you're from, wherever you're
Good eye.
watching. Thank you very, very much indeed. It's a morning. Look, we're on the brew. We're not
It
talking
is. It is
special
a
brew as
morning
well.
here. It is a morning here, and yeah, I'm on a very strong coffee. I left that machine
Ooh,
running a little bit longer than I usually do, mate.
mate,
I mean, I'm acting like
I've
it's
got the
5 a.m.
biscuits out.
It's half past 9. I need to get a grip. I wasn't even working yesterday.
I've got the biscuits out, a nice cuppa, and set to chat all things football with the man that is Joe Redmond. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm happy we didn't get dicked off City. Put it that way. 3-1.
Yeah.
Get it. Let's get into it. Let's get straight into the nitty gritty of it. We didn't get dicked, but we still got beat. We brought the hoodoo of not scoring at the Etihad for quite a while. So I think it's something like 46-2 now, on aggregate. But we'll take it. We'll take it. It's an
Yeah.
improvement.
Obviously happy with the. I mean, we were just saying off air, weren't we? Like, it's bizarre because City beat us and beat us comfortably, as you'd expect, but they didn't get out of second gear.
Yeah,
And it's not like we didn't let them get out of second gear. They're just like, we can't be bothered. They didn't input Haaland onto the 75th minute. And they didn't have Haaland and KDB on the pitch together because obviously Haaland came on for KDB. So yeah, I feel like if we'd have been better defensively, not give away three sloppy goals really. All right, the third one's good play from City, but the fact that it's 26 seconds after half time says that we were still asleep. The first goal's poor. Alvarez just runs in between the two defenders. You've got Vitinho looking at him. Ekdal not paying attention to his run. None of them track him. And then the second goal, again, everybody's asleep. And that run by Alvarez, it's a good pass and a well-worked goal by City again. But just if Burnley were more awake, then that wouldn't happen. And you just feel like, yeah, they probably still would have beat us, but we'd have had to make them work for it. I don't feel like City worked for it, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, 3-1's better than 5-6-0 like it always is. But City didn't have to work for it and they didn't get out of second gear. And if City wanted to beat us 5-6-0, then they probably would have done.
yeah. I mean, it's always good to go there and get a consolation. I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, Alderkill's first goal for Burnley. Got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a strange one for Alderkill because it literally just hits him, and it gets lucky in a way. And I'm not dissing him, but it gets lucky in a
Yeah, it
way because
does.
he doesn't swing a foot at it. It doesn't anticipate the ball coming in. He just makes a run, which gives Fofana the outlet to pass it to. But he just makes the run, and then once the ball comes in, he doesn't have the presence of mind or the ability to actually swing a foot at it. I think you've got to look at Fofana and how well he did to make that. That was all Fofana's hard work. Yeah,
Yeah.
Alderkill, first goal for Burnley, he'll get the credit for it, fair enough. But Fofana looked decent when he came on. There was a
Yeah.
moment
What did you
about
make
10,
of him?
15
What did you
minutes.
make of him in that?
Yeah, well, it
in that
looks
role?
decent, and I'd start him. I'd start him ahead of Amdouni. I think Amdouni he's playing out of position. To be fair to him, he's not a goal scoring type of striker. He's more of a creative player. But he had another chance on Wednesday night that he ballooned, and he just seems to do it a lot. He just misses too many chances. He missed 2 against Spurs in the FA Cup. The first one he's got to be scoring. The second one, it's a bit of a reaction. But I think any of them two fall to Foster, and they both go in, and it's probably the same on Wednesday as well. If that effort falls to Foster, it goes in, and I just think Amdouni needs a bit of a rest, a bit of time out of the team. And yeah, maybe now we'll see him playing in a position that he wants to play in with Fofana. So Foster and Fofana could start as the front two, and we might see Amdouni drop deeper a little bit and have that more creative role. But yeah, impressed with Fofana, and to be honest, it might be a bit soon, but I'd start him against Fulham on tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the shift he put in was remarkable, especially on the debut, coming off the bench, wearing the 23. As we know, the number 23 shirt was magical last season. So let's hope that we can create some more magic this time round. You said there Fofana was one of the incomings in this January transfer window. Obviously, we all saw it because Manchester City basically announced our signing, but Maxime Esteve joined us from Montpellier, and obviously late in the window, confirmation of Lorenz Assignon signed. I mean, what have you made of the 3 signings that have come in? Obviously, we've not seen any of them, but
yeah,
have you had any inside information, shall we say, on 2 of the newbies?
No, I don't know much about them, to be honest. I remember tweeting that we're interested in him, and a Sheffield United fan messaged me and basically saying how jealous he was, how much of a great signing it's going to be. And I was like, oh, do you know much about him then? Because I genuinely don't know anything. But this is this is Esteve, by the way. He was just basically saying like he's just a really good footballer. And I was like, oh, well, have you got more information on him? Because I genuinely don't know anything about him. I don't watch French Ligue 1. I've not seen Montpellier play. Used to watch it for work, but I wouldn't really pay attention to the players. I just would watch because I had to do it. And it never really stood out. And I said to him, I said, what type of player is he there? He said, well, basically he's a dedicated YouTuber, mate. Like, I know me and you, we get up early at 9:30 and do videos, just before we go after we get on from work. So that's a level of dedication. This guy, mate, he said he's got a dossier of about 100 of the best young European players across Europe, just in case they sign for Sheffield United. It's like, well, how many times have you been able to use this? It's like, not going to lie, mate, like once or twice. I've been doing it for 5 years. That is dedication. It's like, yeah, but when we sign one of these players, it's really, really good. But he was saying he's one of the players that he had like a little dossier on, and he said, like, I'd love Blaze to sign him. Instead, we're getting Mason Holgate, were his words. Now, I don't know if they got that over the line or not.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, well, he weren't really. He was saying that we're getting the better defender. And a lot of football fans, when you step back and look at the bigger picture, when you look at the way we're signing players and the youngsters coming in, a lot of people agree it's the right thing to do. It's just that at the minute, obviously, we're not reaping the benefits for it. But hopefully, in 2-3 years, when these players are hopefully coming good and playing week in, week out at their best for Burnley, or we sell them on for a high price, we will see the benefits of it. But I'm sure you'll get into some of the outgoings at the minute. But some of these players that have been recently are now being shipped out, and we expected them to get to a higher level and potentially be sold on for profit with Burnley, and then they'd now be shipped off the Championship on loan. So who knows? Hopefully, obviously, not every single signing is going to work and be 100%. But yeah, I think we're doing things in the right way.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, Lorenz Assignon, who joined us, was meant to be Galatasaray's replacement for, is it Sasha Boy? And obviously, then we signed Lorenz. We'll just go with that, so I don't try and butcher the last name again. Yeah. But obviously, we've signed him. They went for Serge Aurier, and that deal fell through for them. So they're now without a right back. But the interview that Lorenz gave was that he was linked with a good amount of clubs. Yeah. And again, Vincent Kompany sold him the project and the dream.
I mean, Vincent Kompany pull. It's better than a Sean Dyche omelette. I think we can safely say it's better than a Sean Dyche omelette. But yeah, a lot of players have come and a lot of players have said, like, I'm here because of Kompany, but Kompany has convinced me to come. I don't think Burnley would have signed him without Vincent Kompany. Hopefully he's bought into the project and he understands. It sounds like he has. I'm not saying he hasn't, but there's comments that he's made, as you just said, it sounds like he has. And same with Esteve as well. Hopefully they're both in the mindset of, these are going down. I'm here for the long run. I'm here to help them bounce back, because we are going down. There's no way we're going to win 7 games minimum and draw 4 when we've won 3 all season. So hopefully they're on that path, and they know that we're going to be going down, and hopefully their mentality is to come back up. But yeah, I do agree with that. I think there's a lot of players that come because of Kompany, and fingers crossed, we can continue that, especially in the summer.
Yeah, you said there as well, outgoings obviously burst up. Dennis Frankie left to join Tanana. I mean, that was a strange one anyway, because he was one of the first signings Vincent Kompany brought through. And, we thought, oh my God, we've signed a keeper from PSG. But we've not really seen much of him, have we?
No, he's not played a game for us, unless I'm mistaken, and he's played something in the FA Cup or the earlier rounds of the Carabao Cup. But I don't think he's even played. I mean, obviously, look, that Vincent and the staff, they're seeing week in, week out in training. They obviously don't think he's good enough. I was surprised at the fact that we let him go so soon without ever really giving him a chance. Like, I don't see why we didn't just send him out on loan to like a League One club or whatever and see how he got on there. If he wasn't good enough, then move him on. But they've obviously looked at him in training, obviously thought, this one's a bit of a dud. We've put some money in this. Let's try and recoup it now before it goes down in value.
Yeah, surprising one, really, for a lot of Burnley supporters. Anasta Hull, and I still can't get used to that image. But I mean, this is a player who literally got Premier League minutes only last week.
Yeah, so, I mean, he played well against City. I thought he did well against City. He ran he got Doku booked, I think it was. It was only on for about half an hour, probably less than that. Came on, ran at players. I mean, Alderweir's been brilliant. I'm not for 1 second going to start slagging Alderweir off, but Alderweir was quiet against City. And I do think that maybe, he's young, he's going to get tired. He might mentally start struggling just for the pressures of the Premier League. Zaroury coming in and maybe taking that pressure off Alderweir every now and then would have helped. And, I saw enough from Zaroury on Wednesday night to suggest that he might be able to start coming on around the hour mark if Alderweir's quiet, or even start on the right-hand side instead of playing JBG and having that imbalance in the squad and having two wingers that can run at defenders. So, yeah, I was disappointed to see him leave, but not unexpected. He's not been getting games. I love him. I think he's brilliant. And hopefully he'll be back in the Championship next season, because he was brilliant in the Championship last season before the World Cup in the first half of the season. So I don't see why he wouldn't be brilliant again. But yeah, let's see how he gets on at Hull, because I think he's probably going to be one of their better players now. And Hull, I know certain people on Twitter have been saying it for a while, but Hull are now really looking like good dark horses for going up, which would be hilarious if Anas Zaroury and Hull City went up at the expense of Connor Roberts and Leeds United.
There we go. Then
that brings you on nicely.
Brings it on nicely.
It does.
It's. I'm not quite sure what to take on what Connor Roberts has said. I mean, I know the media and the social media team there will big up Leeds to no high heaven, but the fact they kept going on about this is a massive club, this is a massive club, this is a massive club. That's all you can hear. And then they're saying strong hints that he wants to stay. I mean, it's a tough one with Roberts because we've had murmurs of him wanting to sort of leave before, when it wasn't sort of getting a fair crack of the whip when Louts came back and were being impressive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, they're just straight loan moves. There's no obligations to buy with both deals. Is it just a case of, time in the legs and see if they can come on stronger? Because for me, with Anas,
I think it is with Anas.
There's a lot more. You've got he'll get a bit more physicality. He's still a very young lad. There's still ways he can get better. But with Connor Roberts, it's more just game time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with Anas, it is a case of minutes in the legs, and then we will see him back in the summer. Again, like you said, there's no obligations to buy, and it always makes me laugh when people, well, not just people, like full-on media companies will tweet stuff about saying he's joined on loan with an option to buy. You always have the option to buy him. Like Leeds could turn around and be like, yes, we want to buy him now. I understand the difference in it would be the price will be a set price before they move, but there's always the option to buy. Like Anas Zaroury could rip it up in the Championship again, and Hull could be like, yeah, we'll happily spend 25 million on this player if we go up. He's fantastic. So there's always the option to buy, but yeah, you're right, no obligation. But I personally don't necessarily mind Roberts going there and saying it's a massive club. Like you said, Leeds fans, they're a bizarre bunch. No disrespect to any Leeds fans watching, but I've worked in Leeds up until January. But I still kind of partly worked there for since 2016, so a long time. And Leeds fans, they love all that. If you go there as a player and say big club this, that's it. They love you immediately. Like that's your first bit of I'm Leeds. They're a bizarre bunch, so I don't necessarily mind that.
You're all this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't necessarily mind that, but I don't like the way he's gone and said already that he wants to make it permanent. It's bizarre because I get it from his point of view. He's not been playing, so I think I'm looking into it too deeply. Like it's obviously just a playing thing. Like he wants to play, and he's probably gone to Leeds and had assurances of Farker that he is going to be playing. So he's like, yeah, I want to stay then if I'm playing because I've not been playing at Burnley, which is fair enough. I don't know. I just feel like you should have a level of respect for the fans of the old club and your old club itself, not to go there and say in your first interview that, I want to leave that other club that I've just left on loan permanently. But with Connor, I don't ever feel like he really bought into it. Like, I know he lives locally, and he lives in a very, very nice house in the Whalley/Clitheroe area. I think he lives next door to Alan Pace, or on the same estate as Alan Pace. So that'll be awkward.
Neighbours.
When they pass each other. So, I mean, people could look at that and say, well, he's clearly bought into it. I don't know. There's just always been something about Connor where he's just always looked miserable and never really looked like he's enjoyed it. And like I said, you mentioned the time there on the dice when Louts came back. And he wasn't getting game time then. I remember him deleting all his Burnley pictures. It's like, mate, what are you, 15? Breaking up with your girlfriend, grow up. Then he pretended as though he was hacked. It's like, we all know you weren't hacked, mate. We all know you weren't hacked. But yeah, Out of the two, and I know Vitinho suits the system better, but out of the two, he is the better defender. So I can understand why he was frustrated if it is just about playing time and his frustrations are just about minutes, because I do think he's the better defender. I just feel like Vitinho probably suits the current system more. But like you said, with the French lad coming in, the French right back coming in, then if Connor Roberts is Vincent Kompany's second choice, then he's not needed. So the move makes sense. Even if he does go permanently in the summer, it just makes sense. But if Leeds go up, then he'll be at Swansea in no time, because they'll go up, think he's class because they've gone up, buy him, then they're like, actually he's not that good in Prem. We need to ship him off to Swansea and get someone else in. So good luck to him, but I just felt like he could have timed the comments of wanting to stay there permanently a little bit better.
True. I'm going to try and twist this a little bit now. So obviously Roberts has gone. Does that spell a way back in for Bout?
No,
I couldn't have said that at a worse time, really. Just as you were about to take a sip of your beer.
Yeah, I thought you were going to take longer. I thought you were going to be longer. No,
what?
I can't ever see him coming back. I don't. How long has he got left on his contract now?
I think he's still got one more year.
Bloody hell! We need to just get rid of him. I'm sick. And you know what? It's every month somebody will tweet something about it, and then everyone debates it, and I just don't get involved anymore. And everyone's like, "Oh, you should be getting on that, for views and stuff on Turfcast." Like, I'm not arsed. I just don't care about Vout anymore. I'm sick of this debate. Like, I don't think he fits in with the current management as well. Like, he came back for a little bit at the start of last year, didn't he? At the start of this year, and then was shipped out instantly. Like, he obviously, Kompany didn't really either like his style or like his attitude. There was something there, or Vout obviously didn't want to be here, and it made me laugh.
From what I've heard, he actually rang Alan Pace in January, and has said
this January.
And has said, if you want me to come back and try and help the team, I've got no qualms in doing that. You just have to buy me out the loan.
I'd be surprised. I mean, where is he now?
Hoffenheim.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so he went to Hoffenheim. We got Jakob and Larson.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't like Hoffenheim then, because there's even his video, and I don't know why everyone bought it last year. Like, his video when he came back, and the guy or girl who were interviewing him said, "What's it like to be back at Burnley?" Then that sigh that he did, he went, "Oh, yeah," and it was just like you could tell he didn't want to be there. Yeah. So either something's gone on at Hoffenheim, or he's maybe found himself and gone on a spiritual journey and thinks, yeah, all the stuff I've done to Burnley, I regret. But yeah, I can't see him ever playing for us again, to be honest with you, mate. And if he comes in, wears a shirt and proves me wrong and scores 15 goals in the Championship next season, I'll happily eat humble pie. But I don't think he's ever asked about Burnley or ever been asked about Burnley.
I don't think he'll wear a shirt again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think he comes back again, and I don't know about this, him wanting to stay, come back and help the team, because I just cannot see him being that kind of person to ring up Alan Pace and say, I want to help Burnley. So interesting.
No, obviously Fulham this weekend. Quick turnaround. We've gone from Wednesday to Saturday, straight in. Probably good for us, because we've still got that motion in the legs, maybe, compared to Fulham. Again, we surprised ourselves when we went to Craven Cottage and got a 2-0 result. You're hoping to see something similar again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bad timing again there with the drink. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. Recently, like not all the love, but all the hope and all the expectation for this season has been properly zapped out of me. And even though I left the game against Palace, when a team as bad as Palace, yeah, they've got a couple of good players in Eze and Elise and stuff, but they didn't have to do anything in that game to Palace. And I left that game thinking a Crystal Palace team didn't need to get out a second game to beat us comfortably, because we gifted them 2 goals and we offered them nothing. I left that game thinking we're down. And despite that, obviously you still get your hopes up every now and then before games, thinking, oh, well, maybe, just maybe, you look at the league table, if Luton lose that game and Everton lose and we win that, then win that, who knows? But I think now I'm at the stage of, yeah, we probably are down even if we beat Fulham. But I actually fancy us, funnily enough, against Fulham. They've got a lot of injuries. Jimenez is injured. Has got a few away on AFCON as well. There's another couple of injuries as well, whose names escape me off the top of my head. But some of their main source of goals in Jimenez is injured, and some of their main creative players, Harry Wilson, that's another one, he's injured. Yes, they'll still have Willian, who's a good player, and they'll still have a couple of the other ones, but some of their main players are missing. So if we cannot, and I don't mean any disrespectful.
Armando Brozier on loan from
Yeah,
Chelsea yesterday as well.
I don't rate him. I don't rate him at all. You can fast forward this to Saturday when he scores his hat trick and put that music over it if you want. But I don't rate Brozier at all. And whether he comes in and hits the ground running at a new club as well, in a new style and around new players, that's always difficult. So, yeah, obviously Jimenez being injured, I think if Jimenez is there, then we'll struggle against such a good player. And the same with some of the creative players. But I actually fancy his now, and that's because I did the pre-game show on my channel with a Fulham fan, and he was just despondent. It was like, no, it's too many injuries, man, too many injuries. But it was obviously from America. I don't know if you can tell by that brilliant accent. But he was saying that there's too many injuries. So, yeah, after my chat with him, I felt a lot better and a lot more confident, and I have now gone into this feeling we can get a win. But I think thanks to Luton's random 4-0 thrashing of fucking Brighton the other day. I just think the gap's too big. The gap's too big. As I said earlier, I don't know if I said it off air or on air. I think for us to stay up now, we're going to need a minimum of 25 points.
Yeah.
In 16 games? After 22 games, we've got 12. That is a hell of a turnaround. Yes, we can kickstart it against Fulham on Saturday, but yeah, we're going to need 8 wins in the draw, 7 wins and 4 draws in 16 games after winning 3 games all season. Yeah, not for me. It's not going to happen.
Not when you've got Liverpool and Arsenal straight after Fulham either.
Exactly. So any momentum you could build, any momentum you could build, then that's just going to be knocked out here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back on home soil again. That's a positive. 3 o'clock kickoff. None of this midweek. Late night, rush home from work, get over to the Etihad sort of stuff. Looking forward to a good encounter. Do you see any of the newbies actually starting? Apart from obviously you said Fofana. Do you think any of the newbies will slot in? Obviously, with the right back position now being a bit more open, and could you see the new French lad from Montpellier play left back?
Potentially. I mean, if we were going to shove anyone at left back, I'd shove Vitinho there and put the French lad at right back. New country, new league, new team, new system. Let's not then confuse him by sticking him in left back as well. So put him in right back and then Vitinho at left back. I think either way, you're probably all right. I do think we'll see the fullback start because if not, it's Al-Dakhil. And some people were saying because he scored the goal and all they do is look at ratings on whoscored.com, think that he played well against City, but he got beat so many times down that left. But he's playing City, so it's not a criticism. It just did happen. He's not a left back at all. Is Al-Dakhil. So I would expect the right back to start, probably at right back, potentially at left back. I can't see the centre back coming in and slotting in. Potentially, though, because we do have injuries there. And Ekdal, again, I felt like he wasn't that good against City, but again, he's playing City. There was a couple of points where, as I mentioned already, he went to sleep. So we could see all 3 of them start hypothetically, but I just think maybe I don't even think Fofana will start, but I personally would start him. But I think the one out of the 3 that has the most chance of starting is Lorenz Assignon. I think that's how you say it. And then the other 2 maybe, but I'll be surprised if Esteve is starting, to be honest.
Rating out of 10 then for the transfer window. What are you saying, business-wise?
I'm happy with the lads that we've brought in, especially the 2 that are going to be permanent. Fofana, I think he's 100% going back to Chelsea. I say I'm happy with them. I don't know anything about them, but I don't know. I just get a feel from looking at the stuff and talking to people that they will be good additions, especially next season in the Championship. But you can't help but look at that left back situation again and just think it's another window where we've ignored it. And all right, we didn't ignore it in the summer. We put all our eggs in the Martin basket, and we should have done our due diligence and asked him when the day the window opened, like, would you like to play for Burnley again? If he's gone, no, fam, I don't want to play for you again. I've got bigger ambitions, which is fair enough because he's a very good footballer. Then move on. Don't spend all summer trying to convince him to come and join us.
To be fair, he did say at the beginning that I've got no qualms. I would love a return. If I'm not in the frame at Chelsea, I would love a return. But then when he went to America and he were playing games under Poch, and Poch said, "Oh, I rate him. He could actually feature for us." His head were turned at that point. He's like, "Oh, right. Well, that looks like I'm staying here."
He obviously thought he was in the frame at Chelsea because of that American thing, but I think he always had higher ambitions as well. I mean, look where he's gone now. He's playing for Dortmund, for God's sake.
Thanks to us.
Exactly. But basically, if you look at the Bundesliga, it's littered with ex-Clarets. I say littered, there's two, but it's littered. One of them's top of the league, and one of them's playing for Dortmund, thanks to the Burnley loan. So hopefully that, like people have been saying recently, like, oh, no one's going to want to play for us anymore because Vincent just dismantles a winning squad. But when you take a step back again and stop thinking emotionally, Nathan Teller, now top of the Bundesliga, wouldn't have had that chance if it wasn't for Burnley. Ian Martson playing for Dortmund would not have had that chance of playing for Burnley. But yeah, just go back to your original question. You can't help but look at the left back and think that's a massive, massive hole again in our squad. I like Charlie Taylor, but as soon as he's injured, like he is now, we've got massive issues at left back. So for me, I'll probably give it a 6.5 out of 10 because of the left back situation. But I am happy with the lads that have been brought in. I'm just not happy with all of the lads that have been let go, i.e. Zorori.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Hit the nail on the head, mate. Obviously, tomorrow's game, yeah, it is tomorrow, isn't it?
It is.
Keep forgetting what day it is. It's still too early, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Coffee's not kicked in yet, has it?
no, I've not even felt that first need. You know, when your body registers, you've had that coffee, and you're like, oh, toilet break.
Yeah, exactly that. I was just going to say
it's not even registered.
Mine's normally halfway through the second coffee, and I'm like, I'll have to pause this now and just go to the toilet. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, disgraceful. Disgusting. What have you made of Marco Silva then? Obviously, he's gone in there, reignited his career at Fulham since his bit of a mishap at Everton. What have you made of his season so far? I know the Fulham fans are not so happy with the way things are going, but from a managerial perspective, he's actually turned Fulham's fortunes around quite a bit.
Yeah, like he joined them and they were mid-table championship, and that's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but they were definitely in the championship. And then they've gone on and just got better and better, and now they're probably a mid-table Premier League side. All right, somebody might look at it and just say, well, you know, they are looking over the shoulders, but they won't go down. You know, they've got some good players who are injured at the minute. That's why they're in this rut. But yeah, I think he's done a good job, and I've always rated him, to be honest, Marco Silva, apart from his time at Everton. His time at Everton, I started thinking, hold on, maybe he's coming a bit unstuck here and he isn't that great of a manager because he did a good job at Swansea, a good job at Watford. Then he went to what is, I was going to say arguably, but what is definitely the biggest club he's ever been at in Everton. He just couldn't really handle it. And I don't know if it was the pressure of managing a big club, because people forget how big Everton are. There's a lot of arguments about Everton, and people always go on about how big Newcastle are. But when you look at the history of the two clubs, Everton are bigger than Newcastle. It's just that Newcastle are just the darlings at the minute because they're doing so well, and they've got the bigger stadium. And that tends to go into people's heads a lot about how big a club is when it comes to attendance and stadiums. But there's a lot more to it than that. So yeah, I do rate him. I feel like a club like Fulham and Swansea and Watford, they're all the perfect size clubs for him, though. I think maybe going to the next step, he might try it again after Fulham. But I think the pressures of managing a big club might be a bit too much for him. But he's a manager that, say, for example, if Company left at the end of the season and Fulham sacked him, I'd have him next year at the Turf. I think he's all right, to be honest with you.
Happy days. Happy days. I haven't got any graphics for it. However, what I do have is a little quiz again.
Oh,
how many can you name that played for both clubs, both Burnley and Fulham? To be fair, there is quite... I think it's 3, 6. It's 12, but some of them are a bit way before our time.
None off the top of my head. Who played for Burnley and Fulham? Can't think of any. I'm rubbish at stuff like this. My memory is genuinely shocking. Give me some clues.
One was a goalkeeper who wore tracky bottoms.
Oh, Corrali. Pajama Corrali. Did he play for them as well?
Yeah.
He played for everybody, I suppose, didn't he? I mean, that weren't a clue. You basically just told me, to be fair.
Yeah. A lad we got on loan from Nottingham Forest in the Championship scored an hat-trick at QPR.
David Johnson?
Oh, Andrew Cole.
Was he on loan?
Yeah, Andy Cole were on the loan.
I remember him getting a hat-trick at QPR. I was at uni then. That's going back. So that'd have been, what, 2018, something like that, 2017?
In fact, I don't think we got him from Forest. I think he went to Forest after us, to be quite honest.
Did it? You know what? I do not remember him being on loan. I thought he were ours for a season.
Oh, no. Chris Baird.
Oh, God, yeah.
Chris Baird. Yeah, John Arley.
John Arley. I remember him. I saw him at Trafford Centre once.
Did you?
Yeah. There's no other point to that story. There's no next bit. I said that as though there was going to be something. There was nothing.
Kevin Ball. I didn't know he'd play for Fulham.
I'll tell you who else played for Fulham then, and us. You've said Kevin McDonald.
Yes,
he played for them. There you go. I'll get 1 point.
Hey.
I'll double check. I will double check for you.
And do you remember a young lad? He definitely did play for Fulham. I think he is at Bradford or Exeter.
Yeah, Bradford. He was. I remember him being there. I used to work at Bradford, so I do sometimes pay attention to what's happening there. And I remember him being their caretaker manager earlier in the season, because they sacked Mark Hughes and then put him in charge for like 3 games. And then, but yeah, obviously his main memory is going to the 110 club. RIP to the 110 club. Going to the 110 club halfway through a match and hating Brian Laws, and because everybody hated Brian Laws, everyone's like, yeah, fair enough, Kevin. I'd do that as well. It's like, no, he's what? Like, he's totally disrespected the manager and the team and the fans. But yeah, fair enough. You go and get pissed off through the game. But he ended up having
a 6-1 thrashing in the piss down rain at Turf Moor against Manchester City.
It's always against Man City. But he ended up having kidney issues, didn't he? Having to spend some time away from the game and stuff. And it kind of makes sense.
What the 110 club does to a lot of us.
It kind of makes sense. Like, well, if you go in and getting pissed at half time, then that's probably why you've got kidney issues, mate.
One more that you might remember. We had him on loan. I think it might have been a low signing actually. I'm not sure. Alexander Kasaniklic.
God, that's a. What were he? A keeper or left back?
Left winger.
I don't remember that much. Casa.
Yeah, I don't really think he had that much game time. Also, Mark Conroy played for them. Phil Gray, Peter Mellor, Paul Mahone, and Jerry Payton and Tony Parks.
Yeah, this Kasaniklic kid played 6 times for us in 2013. I'm not going to remember that, mate. I don't even know what I had to say yesterday.
I just remember signing him on Football Manager once, and he ended up being like some wonder kid. I can't remember what footy manager it were. But
he didn't fulfill his potential then. Just looking at him now on Wikipedia, played 84 times for Fulham, 12 for Watford, 6 for Burnley, then Copenhagen, then went to Nantes, played 26, 48 for what I presume is a Swedish team for Hammarby IF. Then he went to Hajduk Split, which is obviously a Croatian team, and he's now at Limassol. Apparently, he's still at AEL Limassol. He's been there for 2 years and he's played 11 games. So he's not fulfilled his potential. Hasn't played for
living the dream. A well-travelled man living the dream.
A well-travelled man now in Limassol, which I don't even know where that is. I'm not well-travelled enough. I presume it's Cypriot or Greek.
Something
looking
like
at that. But yeah, and getting paid to do it, mate. Getting paid to do it. Meanwhile, me and you are sat in our bedrooms. Well, I think yours is in the front room, mine's in a spare room upstairs. So that was factually incorrect. Talking to each other. So I'd rather have his life than mine, to be fair. But he's not really fulfilled his potential.
Definitely not. Score prediction then. How do you think we'll get on this weekend?
I think we win, to be honest. I do think we win. And again, if you do want a bit of confidence, go and listen to the pre-game show. And I recommend it to you as well, Dan, when you're on your way to work.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, did you? Well, the guy was just like so despondent by it. And he gave me confidence that we were going to win this match. Now, this has happened before. The West Ham fans said that we'll beat them and he were in a mood. West Ham went on to beat us. So that didn't really work out that well. But yeah, I think we're going to win because of what he said. I'm going to go 2-1 Burnley. Couple of goals from Foster. Maybe Willian get the goal for them. Fingers crossed he gets the goal for them as in my fantasy team. But you know what? It was funny on a Wednesday because I was buzzing when we scored the goal. Then I went to check my fantasy team and I have Edison and I think it was Stones as well. And I lost 8 points because of that goal. So I was a little bit fuming at the same time at the end. I was like, no, I should probably be a bit happier that Burnley have scored against City rather than some game as a 36-year-old man. I just need to grow up. But I think we win. I do think we win. And let's just have a quick look at some of who the other teams are playing. It could put us back in the mix. They're away at Newcastle or Luton, so you'd expect them to get beat there. However, they've already beaten Newcastle once this season. Sheffield United not asked about. So I think Luton play Sheffield United soon. Everton at home to Tottenham tomorrow at 12. So I'll probably watch that in the fan zone if you're out and about, mate.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think I'm doing a watch along online for it.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm having.
In fact, I'll I've something to say to you off air. You might change your mind. Sorry, listeners, if you're looking forward to Dan's watch along. But I'll give you. I'll
Hey,
let you know
mate,
something off air.
I can be persuaded. Trust me, I can easily be persuaded. You don't even have to put my arm up my back sometimes. Mrs. always says it. She goes, if someone mentions the word beer and going out for meeting up for dinner and not coming back till 3 a.m., then yeah, I'm usually like, right, yeah, sorry kids, sorry love, I'm off.
They're your problem now, love. They're your problem now.
I did that once when my little one was younger. She'd literally like full nappy everywhere, and I was like, "Oh my god, what do I do? What do I do?" So I went running upstairs. Like, what do I do? I think, and she's like, "Just give her here a minute." So I did. Ran back downstairs. Went, she's your problem now.
Yeah, thankfully, there's not so much now. I've only got one, and he's 5, nearly 6.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we don't have to deal with that
he knows
anymore.
how to use the toilet. Yeah, thankfully.
Happy days, happy days. No, thank you very much for coming on, Joe. Again, I appreciate it. I know it's early, but give people a shout and let them know where they can check TURFCAST out because you guys are absolutely smashing it.
Yeah, well, just all the usual stuff. Just search TURFCAST podcast. We do lives, pretty much similar thing to what Dan does on YouTube. Lives. I don't do the watch-alongs anymore, but I do lives, pre-game shows, full-time shows, and we obviously everything goes out as a podcast as well. So have a look on your podcast provider. You can listen to the audio from these streams, and if you're just into your social media and don't want to watch or listen to anything, that's fair enough. There's plenty of pages that do that as well. Where one of them, just search TURFCAST podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, even TikTok, but I very rarely use TikTok these days. I'll make a video, then about a month later, forget about it, go back, check it's had like 300 views, I think that's crap, I'm not making another one, then do it again in about a month. So I'm pretty much on all the socials, though.
Happy days, happy days. Please do go check it out. The YouTube link and the Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, is in the description, so go check out the channels. But that's it from me. Obviously, the game is tomorrow. This will be... If you're watching it, it's obviously gone out, but it has been pre-recorded. So yeah, please do give it a like, get in your comments, get in your score predictions, let us know how you think the game's going to go, your ratings on the transfer business, and what you'd like to see and how many points you think would get come the end of the season. Again, thanks, Joe. Really appreciate it. Until then, chaps, up the Clarets and Auf Wiedersehen, motherfucker.